This episode is sponsored by UPMC Elite Orthopedics. UPMC Elite Orthopedics is proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor Scholastic Mirror on the Altoona Mirror YouTube channel. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, or to schedule an appointment in one of their facilities in Hollidaysburg or Bedford, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho or call 814-889-3600.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Scholastic Mirror here at the Altoona Mirror on our YouTube channel. We're wrapping things up here, folks. We are several days away from June. The three of us, usually at this time of year, are already on vacation at some beach somewhere in Pennsylvania. But obviously, we can't do that right now because we're going to bring you Scholastic news from the Altoona Mirror. My name is Scott Franco. I am joined by Mike Boyden, who has been on several spring sports playoff trails here recently. Also, Andy Stein's going to give us his opinion. Dan Eisenberg behind the camera in his usual spot. Right off the bat, we're going to talk about a track wrap-up that Mike spent down in Shippensburg this past weekend. Just some of the highlights of some of the people that jump out at you for what they accomplished.
Yeah, well, obviously, we had the state champion, Josh Stolarski from Penn Cambria. It was nice to see Haley Kravitz from Altoona get a medal in her final meet. I know sixth place is probably not exactly what she was looking for, but when she almost missed the prelims down there, I mean that's good to then come back from that and be able to still beat somebody and get that. It was also a weird day for Cole Dickinson, who got bumped into running the 300 hurdles and almost knocked over and had to run the entire 300 hurdles over again by himself with the entire stadium cheering. Well, can you imagine being in that situation?
Yeah, he's Belladana's kid, just senior, junior.
He's senior. And so it turned out to be his final thing as a Scholastic athlete, was running by himself in a race just alone with nothing but the hurdles out there as the entire crowd. And they actually had a comment, like the PIAA guy was commenting on his race. As he
handled that part all right.
He handled it well, but it's hard, as he said afterward, it's hard to pace yourself when you're not in a race against anybody. And sometimes, even when I talked to Stolarski, sometimes he said he would like to race against the 3A guys like Jesse Myers from State College, because even though he's probably going to lose that race, the faster guys really push you. So sometimes it brings out the best in you when you didn't even know you had it. But when you're there by yourself, that's got to be a tough situation. But kudos to him for taking the opportunity, because they came down, they called Nick Lovrich out. And this is the second time this has happened to him. It happened at districts as well. No, not districts, the Altoona Mountain Lion meet. But when they did that race over again, they ran it with everybody doing the race over again. This one, he had to do it by himself, and he had the option of running it himself or just saying, you know what, I'm good, I'm not going to do it. So you weren't
going to do that. You weren't going to say, no, I'm just not going to do it again. No, I want a better time probably.
And you're almost recent close to being a high school graduate because you're so much younger than.
And I'm 35.
You could be my son and Mike's little brother. But can you imagine a high school? High school kids don't want anybody to
oh yeah.
And then you're the only one there.
A lot of times the high school athletes are shy as it is, but then you add in the fact that you're the only one on the track right now. That probably adds to the pressure, adds to the nerves a little bit. I mean, that's not an easy situation at all for Dickinson, but kudos for him for making a tough situation, and doing doing a pause and doing what he needed.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was cool. When I talked to him afterward, could have been disappointed about not, making it to the next day or anything. He just said, hey, you know what? That was a pretty cool way to end my high school career, having the whole stadium cheer for me while I was running the hurdles by myself.
Yep.
And then also somebody that you followed for a while too, because I'm looking at the paper you have right, Caden DeLautre. I mean, went in seated first, and I'll let you finish the specifics there, but a nice career he had there.
Yeah, it was. It was a mixed bag for Caden because he didn't qualify in the long jump, which he had really good numbers all year. I'm sure he was disappointed about that. Went down and he got a bronze medal in the triple jump, which he had gotten 6th place as a sophomore, and last year he didn't work out. He didn't medal at all. So it was a nice way to wrap up his career. And hey, the bright side is he didn't have to come back for Saturday. So the Hollidaysburg had their prom that night. He didn't have to make 2 trips back and down to ship it.
And I did see photos on his mom's Facebook page. He looked very spiffy. I know a lot of people don't use the word spiffy anymore.
Yeah, it's a word though.
But he did look nice. And I also think hopefully his dad doesn't get mad at me for saying this, because this kid's an exceptional athlete, exceptional track and field athlete. He had offers, D1 offers to jump in college, but Caden wants to go into business. He's starting his own business. Don't want to use the same business because it's pre-advertising. But the fact is that that's an 18-year-old kid who already knows what he wants to do, and he saved money to put this business together. So God bless him. I think that's great because I don't know if somebody would have offered you, hey, go play, but you wanted to start your business. Thinking about having that decision at that.
I tell kids all the time these days, it's like, if you do not want to go to college, don't, because it's an incredible amount of money that he's going to save. And for people like me, somebody like me, I don't have a handy bone in my body, so like I couldn't go do what Caden does right now, or what he's going to do here, starting his business. So I think it's great that he chose to. I'm sure it's tough that he's not going to go play a sport in college. I'm sure that's he's going to miss it, and like everybody does. But I think it's awesome that he's going to start his own business and do his own thing.
And congrats to a couple other 4th place finishers, Christian Vassell from Central Cambria, and we also had Lainey Berkheimer was 5th in 3,200, that was a nice turnaround for her, and Carter McDermott from Penn Cambria in that was the long jump. I believe that he got 4th place. So couple high top finishers there, and then we had some other medals throughout the weekend, but it was a nice weekend to wrap up the track season for a lot of our local superstars.
And we still have some playoff games with baseball and softball. Softball, real quick, we have Claysburg Kimmel playing for a district championship, and Glendale softball in a consolation bracket game for a trip to states on the line. Baseball, we have 4 teams going on. I'll let Mike tell you the specifics of it, because when this airs depends on what you're going to know about these games coming up.
Yeah, so we have 4 teams that have clinched. Hollidaysburg in 5A, Central and Central Cambria are both going in 3A, and then we have Bishop Carroll in 1A. Now, Scott, I know that in 1A, Bishop Carroll is going, and they have a losing record. I know that is something that bothers you. But
this goes back to the Seattle Seahawks beating the New Orleans Saints in a playoff game with a 7-9 record, and Boyden was rooting for the 7-9 team, and he doesn't even like the Seahawks. But I digress.
But let's just put it this way. The reason they have a losing record is because they compete in the Laurel Highlands, which is a very tough league for a 1A school to be in. And I think that's part of the reason they were able to turn it around this year and get back to this position and be in the state playoffs. Like, it's just an example of what we've talked about with these teams in the Laurel Highlands. Yeah, I mean, it's possible you could go play in the Heritage Conference or the ICC, and you're going to play more of the teams your size. But Bishop Carroll went out and tested themselves, and they got back to the state playoffs, I think, because they were in this.
In that championship game, they lost to McCourt. They had 2 nice-sized leads. And if you read the Mirror article, if they catch the ball and if they don't walk a lot of people, they would have won that game. In fact, the paginator is the mistake. I already had my Bishop Carroll headline when they were up like 5 or so. I had it written in my head, and I was ready for them. And
I don't remember like if it was on this show or if we were just out in the office talking, but we were talking like not too long ago about how the Laurel Highlands, how many state champions have they had just in the last few years in that conference? I mean, Bald Eagle and Belfont are like 6 miles apart. They both won last year. Tyrone won just a few years ago.
Central.
Is
Mount Union now?
Yeah, Mount Union's
Still the ICC. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, we got Central playing Central Cambria.
Central and Central Cambria both. I mean, if you look at 3A, I mean, with the teams Central and Central and Tyrone winning state championships, the District 6 entry is always someone to worry about. Riverside won the championship last year, but Tyrone, who was the runner-up in District 6, played them in the first round and lost by 1 run, which was scored in, I think the 7th inning. So it was right down to the wire, and then Riverside went on to win the state championship. So these Central Cambria and Central should both be threats. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is that these games, as rain has kind of become a factor again this week, I feel like that's something we've talked on this show a lot about. The rain, if it pushes these games back any further, it could affect who's pitching in Monday's matchups, and you want your best pitchers to go because these other teams are going to have their best pitchers.
And who do they get the winner? Whoever wins the Central Cambria game will play.
They'll be playing Whitby.
Which is cool. And also, it was pointed out last night, if Hollidaysburg could pitch Carson Kensiger again next week, could
Which
they not?
They will, yeah.
Which they will. I mean, this sub-regional game, they beat the Obama Academy, really set up nicely for them. But are we ready to do our jumping off the page now?
Well, we did want to talk a little bit about holidays.
Hollidaysburg
with Kensinger.
Oh, Schindel doesn't want us. He doesn't want us to jinx it. And now we talked about it, and then they'll go lose, and then he'll blame us.
Real quick, I will just say that the Hollidaysburg should be close to home, if not home. Whoever wins between Central and Central Cambria should be home. Now, Bishop Carroll's going to have to go to a District 9 site, and the team that loses the Central Cambria game will have to go to a Whitfield site. But don't count those teams on the road out. I've covered many games where the Whitfield team in baseball, it's not like the Whitfield team in basketball or football. Like I've seen Phillipsburg Osceola upset the top seed in the Whitfield. I've seen Central do it. I've seen Tyrone do it. This area is good in 3A baseball as anywhere.
Do we know who Hollidaysburg's second pitcher is if they get the first one from Kensiger? Because that's what I'm curious, because if that person can get Kensiger to a game 3, then you get to the state finals, and then all bets are off once you're in the state finals. That's how
you're right.
That second pitcher will be almost...
But step 1 will be Kensinger, and I'm assuming that would be Monday.
Yeah.
You never know that you could possibly play that at the Curve Field, right?
Well, do the Curve home next week?
I know they're
going to say they would be off Monday, though, right?
Yeah, they would be off Monday. You're right. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, now are we ready? Can I jump in? He jumps off the page. Andrew, do you want to go first?
All right, yeah. So I am a fan of WWE. A lot of people know that. If you know me personally, I know a lot of people know that I'm a WWE fan. Well, Josh Stolarski the other day, he had a quote to Mike after he won his two state titles in the 200 and 400. I just want to reiterate that I have no opinion on this. I just love the quote.
We do. We just have a lot to say.
Yeah, I think this kid has a future in WWE if he wants it. Nobody from Penn Cambria is ever going to do what I did. I know that for a fact. Nobody is as driven as I am from Penn Cambria. We have good sports. We have a good football team, semi-good basketball and baseball teams. But when it comes to the top dog athlete there, it's always going to be me. Nobody my caliber will come out of Penn Cambria ever again. I just think that's excellent. He does not lack for confidence.
I was going to say that has to be the most confident 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Charisma.
I'm 35 years old.
He kind of reminds you of Carter Starachi from Penn State Wrestling, if you're familiar with him.
Who would he be? Who would you compare him, since you guys watch wrestling? Who would you compare him to as a wrestler? A pro wrestler?
Well, I think you would have to be a heel.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. It also sounds like Muhammad Ali in a way.
Yeah, and I've heard people say that about this. I will say, I think you have to have some type of confidence to reach the levels that he has. And you have to believe that you can push yourself, because he did go from 49 seconds winning the state championship to 47 seconds winning the state championship. And like he said, cutting 2 seconds off of 400 time is, in 1 year, is astronomical. That is unheard of. And to be able to push yourself and do that, you need to have that kind of confidence in your ability.
What did you say? You covered the girl from Belledanis. Was it Anna Holland? And who am I thinking of? Or is it her sister?
Yeah, Holland.
Well, she was extremely confident. And in my business, we're paginators and we love to break out a quote box. If Mike was coming back from a Belledanis girls basketball game, I was praying he'd have something good from Anna Holland. It's like Stolarski. I'm going to miss the kid now that he's graduating, because that's the kind of stuff he just...
And I will say this who these people are. Like, when you have a comment like that, I mean, you're an 18-year-old and you have given a comment, and you are going to, you don't want to cut what a peer person says, because that you don't want to try to make someone look different than they are. This is who he is, and you don't want to hide what the people are. And
he's always polite.
He's polite. Yeah. He's worked with us. He's very confident, and we hope that he finds a spot at the Division I school like he's looking for.
But he literally jumps off the page.
Oh yeah,
if ever a segment was named for somebody, mine isn't as cool or as interesting as any. But last week, Central Cambria Central Cambria softball team played Juniata, lost 5-4 in 11 innings. Now, the writer who wrote the story wrote it for another paper, but we perched it. The pitcher for Juniata High School, her name was Liz Gaisher. So she pitched all 11 innings. She got 33 outs. Of those 33 outs, she had 28 strikeouts. That absolutely knocked me silly off the page. I thought, so that means she got 5 out. Like 5 balls were put in play, but yet they still scored. Central Cambria scored 4 runs off her. Central Cambria almost won a game in which they struck out 28 times in a game. Now, in baseball, that doesn't happen in baseball, because you're going to have nobody ever again is going to pitch 11 innings in the baseball game.
Not a chance.
But this girl, Juniata High School, Liz Gaisher, struck out 28 batters in 11 innings.
That's amazing.
And that just, I'm trying to imagine next year when we do this segment again, if anything will jump off the page the way that did.
And why is she able to throw 11 innings?
Because she throws underhand. So for those of you out in the Cove who are big faithful watchers of us, again, we want high school baseball players to throw underhand. Make it all softball. Anyways, Mike's going to close out our segment here.
Just wanted to say, to me, what jumped off the page was just how good of a job our sports staff did with this Athletes of the Week section. Just, a great way to honor some of the best athletes in our area. I just imagine if I was one of these kids and everything, and to be included in this, I think sometimes we take for granted, what the local sports community can do for you. I know a lot of people get excited, like even if it's your bocce league and you win your bocce league,
and we run
a record and photo. That's what newspapers are for. And because we have a newspaper that comes out and puts these in there, it just jumps off the page to me like what a special thing this is. Because, and I'm not trying to just say, hey, the Mirror is great and that's what, it's just, you can't take these things for granted. When I was covering the state track meet, I just kept seeing state college kids winning state titles, winning big events, winning medals. Nobody was interviewing them because
they don't cover high school sports.
There's no coverage for the state college athletes. Like the Mirror has still been able to do that for the teams in our coverage area, and I just hope that people can appreciate that, because this is the type of stuff that jumps off the page to me, and I think, wow, this is really special, and I hope that the kids and the parents appreciate it.
I believe that was our May 20th paper. And if you're looking at this for the first time and you didn't get a copy, which you should have already gotten a copy, you should already be a subscriber. But you could probably come in there, and I bet you there would be extra copies. Maybe you get grandparents do scrapbook or something, or you're just a big fan of that high school program. But yeah, Mike's right. Nobody, I mean, we're going to toot our hand. Nobody covers high school sports the way we do. I'm sorry. That's what we're good at. But anyway, and we're also good at doing this television show.
That's right.
But we don't know if we're coming back at all in 2 weeks. We hope we do. Part of us hope we don't because we're tired. We want to go on vacation. No. These two still want to keep working, but I want to go on vacation.
Not till 4th of July for me.
But for Andy Stein, for Mike Boyden, for Dan Eisberg behind the camera, my name is Scott Franco. We will see you next time, if there is a next time, on Scholastic Mirror.